Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Sunday, November the 14th. The year's 2021. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly open and gap. And as you know by now, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And we're coming into the third week of November 2021, third trading week. So just remember, let's keep our risk management in place. Let's not lose any more on any one particular trade than we're willing to lose. So looking at the weekly chart, we are the pound is 17 pips above the weekly open at the moment, 24 pips off the low, and 11 off the current daily high. And taking a look at the dashboard, we can see that all the gaps have filled. We're putting in the opening range for the week. We're below the opening range for the year, which is below the opening range for the month. So far, this year, we're 22 pips below the open, and we're 255 pips below the monthly open. So looking at this monthly chart, you can see right where the pound sits. And right now, the monthly low is the yearly low. And we basically penetrated and fell back below the monthly inside bar, which was last month. We're below the weekly inside bar from 6 weeks ago, and the daily inside bar, we're 310 pips below that low. And that daily inside bar was 15 days ago. Taking a look at the dashboard, it looks like we've got a lot of potential inside bar action here on the dailies. We are 5 hours and 45 minutes into the trading day. No ranges are even close to 100. Okay, we had the pivot point below the open. So if the pivot faders would be looking to go short, the gap faders would be looking to go long. And right now, the gap faders were the ones in profit. But you might want to look for that pivot, especially when price crosses below the daily/weekly open. Rats, range is too low, only 35 pips on the range. Notice we got a weekly pivot at 134.60. The monthly pivot's already been taken out. So today's pivot's below. The weekly pivot is above. Let's see if they both get taken out. And here on the pivots chart, showing all the different the misses for the daily at the moment. And once again, today we've missed the pivot. We missed it by about 4 pips. Like 4 pips on the nose. And for the weekly, you can see we still have that missed pivot from 2 weeks ago. And we've got a missed pivot from 1031, which is 2 weeks ago. And the monthly, they've all been taken out. Wick zone, in and out of the upper wick zone with the break right at the 34.25 psychological level. Taking a look at the weekly ranges. Past 2 weeks, we're way above the 50 percentile. We got a 75 and 83. We had a lot of news, though, in the past couple of weeks. So I don't think there's much news this week. Maybe one day of some red news. So we'll just have to see what happens. Anything can happen. This is trading. On the price action, with the wall mall lines, once again, just trading with the candle color at the line proves to be profitable. 2 hours ago, we had 21 pip movement, which was a nice move off of the 3420 line. Nice movement there. You can see we put a 3 ball in at the top, and price is pulling back. And here at the higher low, lower high, using the M1, if we switch over, actually, when you switch to M1, you can see where these levels are being drawn from. And let's see, I believe last week we talked about the 3-level ZZ indicator. I think we had that one up. In fact, here we have, this is the dynamic fibs SR, which we have set to mimic the 3-ball. And one of the things, for whatever reason, I had the gauge turned off. I think I was talking about something else at the time. But once again, what we want to see is a nice breakout. And so the support breakout at the moment has only been 3.8 pips, even though we've had 10 pushes. So you usually want to see at least 3 or 4 pushes, and you want to see a breakout of at least 10, if not 12 pips or more. Now, there's a couple of ways you can play that. If you're playing the reversal, you sit on the hands. But if you're playing the breakout, then you just start in this case, you just start shorting, knowing that it'll probably pull back to the 23 level and then continue on down. So it's something to look at. Once again, you put your stops in place. But just remember, this time of day isn't really conducive to these methods. So part of trading is knowing when to trade. It's like fishing. When do you fish? When the fish are biting. When it's time for them to eat. Because if it's time for them to sleep, they ain't biting. So the market's kind of the same way. Trying to remember, I don't recall any questions since the last video, so I hope I haven't missed any. Last week was a pretty a lot of movement on the pound. You can squeeze in here. You can see. So here's today. We got 1, 2, 3. Go back 4, 5 days. You can see there was a lot of movement. And when playing the, when I say play or trading off of the 3-ball, if it puts one on the bottom, it's got to put one on the top sooner or later. If it puts one on the top, it's got to put one on the bottom. And for those traders, do you have what it takes to stay in the trade for that length of time? So for example, here, Friday, it put in a 3-ball. And now today, it put in a 3-ball. So do you have what it takes to take it from say 33.60 all the way up to what, 34.30. You know, that would be a 40 plus 30, a 70 pip run. Do you have what it takes to stay in the trade that long? Some people don't have the patience. I, for one, usually don't have the patience to stay in a trade that long. But that's why you have to know who you are as a trader and what you're going for. Are you going for 2 pips, 20, 200? You have to decide. And once you decide, you really got to stick with it. I know sometimes I get mad at myself when I quote unquote leave pips on the table, but so long as I'm, you know, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know, at the end of the day, I might have more pips than had I just waited and let that one trade play out. Now it would have been a lot less quote unquote stressful, but you know, you just have to know. So I'm more of a quick hit type of trader. You know, some people are patient. You know, they can be in a trade for days, weeks, months, and it doesn't bother them at all. They don't, you know, they could be up 50 pips and then, you know, then back only up 5 pips, and it just doesn't seem to bother them. That would drive me nuts. I mean, it almost drives me nuts if I'm up 5 pips and I only get out with 3. So you just really have to, you know, have a trading plan in place, execute the plan to the best of your ability, and if it's working, if you're making money, don't change a thing. Really don't. But you do have to pay attention to the market. So, like Walt and I have been trading the pound together for about a year and a half, and we've noticed, you know, over about the past 4 months or so, the range has been narrowing. And so when I ran that frequency distribution on it, it was like, yeah, so that's why the rat zone got changed from 20 pips all the way down to 15. Just to make sure we still have profitable statistics on our side, because those 5 pips could be the difference between a winning trade and a losing trade, and you don't want to have that happen. So if you're running statistics, you might either want to run them monthly or you might want to run them weekly. Daily, not so much, unless you're trading off a 1 minute chart and you need some 1 minute statistics. But usually most of the methods I set up are usually based on either something that happens in the daily time frame or on, say, an hourly time frame. But then, of course, I trade off the 1 or 5 minute charts, just taking advantage of the price action that those methods give. So for this week, I'll probably be diving into some more indicators. And so let me know if there's an indicator that I've written or modified that you'd like me to go over. Otherwise, I'll just keep picking. So, fellow traders, that pretty much wraps it up for the weekly open and gap. I hope you had a fun and safe weekend. I hope you have a profitable week in the week ahead. And just remember, keep your stops in place. And also, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit it, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you know when I put out a new video. Now, a lot of these people, they say that up front. I can never remember to say that up front. Maybe I'll have to put a screen up there. I could say that. You know, subscribe, like, click on the bell. So, this is TheRumpledOne, over and out.